Bud Comfer is the director of NeighborWorks Boise, an affordable housing provider in Boise, Idaho. Welcome, Bud.
Thank you. Yep, good to have you here and kind of show you some of the things that we do here in Boise, Idaho.
Well, great. Can you tell us a little bit about NeighborWorks?
You bet. NeighborWorks is a nonprofit affordable housing developer. This is one of 7 that we've done. We've got another one on queue. All of our communities are from a 9-unit subdivision all the way up to a 39-unit subdivision. Our original mission was to help create affordability through helping families paint their home that couldn't otherwise afford it. So these are services where we help our seniors, our veterans, our disabled participants in our community help sustain their home. And so that's really where we started 36 years ago. And you fast forward to now, here we are building. We have multifamily projects that are affordable. We're building mixed income, mixed use subdivisions. And so we've come a long way from where we've started, but our intent is to be here and serve our community through whatever means possible.
Can you tell us a little bit about the target market for these homes?
Yeah, we started out about 7 years ago looking at the pocket neighborhoods. Actually went and toured some up in Washington area, and we thought, there's an opportunity here to bring it back to Idaho, as Idaho's land is becoming more expensive in our downtown cores. As it relates to those that we could appeal to would be maybe your downsizing boomers that are looking to relocate or find a place where they don't have to take care of as much as they've had in the past. And we've been able to see that happen. We've got a lot of diversity in our pocket neighborhoods as it relates to families that have come in with children. And so we're very intentional creating that space for that to happen. Young adults as they're starting their career or even just coming out of college. And so I think what the value of this from one end to the other in the age spectrum is that really brings community together. And that's the value, I think, of a strong community, is that diversity that you bring in to a community. And we hope that we can do that when we started out, and it turns out that's just kind of how it ended up.
Does NeighborWorks take a different approach to affordable housing than maybe some other affordable housing providers?
Yeah, well, I think so. I think we're poised to be able to do that, both from a nonprofit standpoint. The earnings that come in go right back to our community. As I mentioned, our Paint the Town is free of charge to our individuals here that need that help. And we're very purposeful in the approach that we take as we bring affordability. Affordability can happen in multiple ways. Certainly the cost of the home is one of them. Of the sizing of our homes is another way that we can help with that affordability component. We have 2 licensed lenders of a nonprofit lending arm, and so that enables us to apply for federal, state, and local grants that we can use for down payment assistance, and that's a great way to bring affordability. And then there's some opportunities for those who aren't ready to buy a home. We have 2 HUD certified counselors on our team, and they walk families through, what does it mean to buy a home? What do I got to get ready for? What does it mean to keep the home up? So affordability can happen as you're being educated and educate buyers, and it's days to home ownership. Is we really believe everyone, if that's their dream, can really make that a reality. And we try to approach that and help them through or credit issues or whatever it is, savings, and certainly make our grants available through the Home Ownership Center or our lending arm.
How does energy efficiency fit in with that affordability?
Yeah, good question. Energy efficiency, I think we've talked about the price of the home for affordability, but it's that monthly payment also creates affordability for that family that they can afford it. And the energy efficiencies that we bring in, we start to calculate how much savings, usually it's per year. There's an annual savings of $1,500 per year, and then you throw in some water sense features, and there's another annual savings of about $250 there. And then you look at your air quality isn't really measurable, but the air that you breathe is just as important as the food that you feed your body. And so we approach that as an efficiency that necessarily isn't calculated, but is just as important as it relates to health and sustainability of the family that lives in it. So that affordability happens monthly through our efficiencies that we think are important, not just the one-time purchase.
I think of energy efficiency savings really as earnings.
Sure.
And, Ben Franklin said, "As penny saved is a penny earned."
Yeah.
Well, in terms of mortgage qualification, if you save $10 a month, if you have $10 a month more disposable income, you can qualify for up to $2,000 more mortgage.
Yeah.
So if you're saving $1,500 a year in energy costs, that's, do the math for me. I mean, that's tens of thousands of dollars that you can afford to invest in the energy efficiency features of a home.
Yeah.
So I think I really like the idea that you transfer money from being an expense, a monthly expense, into being an investment in your home. You build a better home, it's more durable, it's healthier, and you also, essentially that pays for itself.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, putting a roof over someone's head is one thing, but helping them stay in that home for the next 30 years is something we're very well aware of as we think through our efficiencies and what we put in, and that return on investment. Your home is, at least for me and my family, is the biggest investment I'll make in my entire life as it relates to that. And so why not think through, like you would with any other commodity that you're going to buy, think through how it's going to last, what are the things that I need to be looking for as features. And through our home buyer education, we hope that we can prime the pump a little bit in that conversation so that folks are looking at a home through those sets of eyes or spectacles of what they've just learned through our classes.
Why do you think that the third-party certifications are important to the consumer?
Yeah, well, twofold. So from the consumer, you know that the home builder, we're just not making up numbers. This is a third-party certification. They don't work for us. And these are trustworthy calculations and numbers. Now, from my perspective, it's very valuable as well as it relates to now I know that I'm doing and meeting the standards at which we need to be efficient for air exchanges in your home, to the pressurizing of the home and the ducts and seeing how much air is being lost, and are we compensating for that? Are we building a product that we intend to build? And so I think it's, from a consumer standpoint, builds that trust for folks, that they know that the numbers and what we say is true. And then from our standpoint, we're doing the right thing. We've found that we need to go back and do things different. And had it not been for that third-party verifier, which, by the way, Heath and Building Energy here is outstanding. He has made all the difference. And as we've you can infrared your walls and you can see stuff through that you just can't see.
But which third-party certification programs do you participate in?
Yeah, NeighborWorks participates in Energy Star, Indoor Air Quality Plus. Both of those are part of the third-party verification program that we do. We install WaterSense fixtures.
And then you also participate in a utility program?
We do. Idaho Power has a utility program that helps us as a builder, and that you have to meet certain criteria, but it ends up bringing about $2,000 per home, which helps pay for the rater as it relates to that and some of the increased energy efficient appliances that we're able to bring in as well.
How does the energy rater work with you, and what are the benefits of his help?
Yeah, good question. For us, the energy rater, it was a really key function that we'd missed for a while. And so they come in on our request. They do a manual J for us. We give them all of the plans that we have, and they'll work with a Mitsubishi dealer to kind of fine-tune the equipment that's going to be installed.
And that's a little bit of an unusual relationship, the energy rater actually doing the heating system sizing and calculations to make sure that you get a properly sized heating and cooling system.
Well, I would agree. I think that typically it's left to the HVAC company to go figure it out. And they are part of that conversation too. I think our building rater starts that conversation where here's where we see each room needs this number of air exchanges, and here's the sizing of those ducts. And so for us, it's been a shift as to maybe in the olden days, you kind of say, it looks like a 2-ton or a 3-ton unit. Our energy rater has really pointed us and really been a focus for us. Why are we doing this, and what does it really need? And we found that through the course of this interaction with the Energy Rater, we have changed our equipment sizes. We've changed the location of our equipment size, locations as it relates to where they're blowing, how they're blowing into a room. We felt it was important to incorporate the locations into the attic space so that it isn't something you see hanging on the wall in each bedroom. That through the building rater, we found that a normal head that you would see on a wall that is way oversized for a bedroom, and certainly the bedrooms that we're building. So one head, or at least a cassette unit up into the truss systems, can manage to heat and cool that entire second floor. And so it's made better use of the equipment, it's made better use of the efficiency of the home, not having to heat more or be overbuilt so it comes on more often and you lose the efficiency of a high performance unit just because you've thrown in a too big of system in that it isn't able to run at its at optimum efficiencies.
Mm-hmm. The mini split heat pumps that you're using are kind of highly efficient units, and they're variable speed. Mm-hmm. So they do kind of ramp up and ramp down with use, but they have some limits. And I think one of the things that you're referring to is that you can often oversize a system so that it does tend to turn off and on when it shouldn't be. Mm-hmm. I find the relationship between the rater and the HVAC contractor very interesting, and it's important that they work closely together. Yes. The energy rater is already doing an energy model of the home, which means he has to measure the volume of the space. He measures the walls, the windows, and everything. Mm-hmm. But an energy model is not the same thing as a manual J heat sizing calculation. And so it's interesting that the rater does both of those things at the same time, and I think it can bring a lot of value to the project because it helps make sure that the system is going to perform really at its optimum efficiency.
Couldn't agree more. I think there's more to HVAC, and there's certainly more to the building than just the building. And so those two working together is really how you create that high performance. Mm-hmm. And I think our building rater has done a great job at doing that. Mm-hmm.
But why do you participate in green building programs? What's the benefit to you?
For us, I think our core mission is to serve our community. And if I were to present a product that I thought was less than and or could have been better, I feel like I haven't done my job. I haven't been a good steward of the funds that we've been given. And so when we build energy efficiencies into it, it's with that end user in mind. It is as if I'm building my home and here's how I would want it done. Mm-hmm. And we learn things along the way. By no means are we perfect or got this figured out. There's always these little tweaks, but the joy for me, it may be nothing that anyone ever sees or what's behind the walls, stuff that they'll never know is there, but creates a home that'll last a long time and that will be a sustainable home for many years to come.
How does the energy rater factor into your quality assurance process?
What I hope those who buy our home feel like there's a whole another layer of trustworthiness, just mm-hmm. as a city inspector does their work on behalf of the end user. Our builder rater does the same. They building energy work on behalf of those who will own this home someday, mm-hmm. and can give verifications of what's been done. They said they did this, they did it, and so that for me is the value. And you start higher productions, it's harder to get in all of those locations and make sure everything's being done appropriately. And so they are that stopping block for us too, to just another set of eyes in addition to our own team and the contractors to make sure we're getting it done.
Has the energy rater ever found something that maybe other people overlooked?
Yes, yeah, they do. Sometimes it's through their calculations that they find things. So when you pressurize a room or you're looking to see your airflow, something's not right here. And so you pop a grill and you start looking, well, sure enough, it was something was there that everyone missed. Mm-hmm. And so certainly has been part of catching items or again, another pair of eyes on what we're doing to make sure we're getting everything right.